Good evening, all. We're just about to start, and I'd like to thank everyone who's come from all over to this little meeting. It was very quickly set up, 10 days, and people are still arriving. It's once again astounding the effort everybody makes to these events. So we've got a lot of speakers today, and I think everybody will enjoy themselves. This is the first of our meetings this year, since our second festival on the 23rd of January, but unfortunately the village didn't come along and join in with us. Or they did, and then they cleared off. So I'm going to pass you over to Mickey Summers. He's got an awful lot of very, very important and good information to give to everybody. You can't hear at the back. I'll turn it up. I'll turn that up. So here you go, Mickey, and
I'll wait for you to turn it up. Go on then. Two, three, four. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Mickey.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you all about what's going on in Nottingham with the child abuse situation. We do have a good piece of news today. Operation Daybreak had arrested another perpetrator, and we don't know yet whether he's been charged, but we definitely know that he's been bailed. And that's all come down from the pressure that's been put on by the Nottingham CSA Action Group. We formed the Action Group because the council want to have what they call an internal review at the end of Operation Daybreak. An internal review, all that does is looks at current safeguarding, and the rest gets swept under the table. That's happened for 6 decades. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I left my New York home a year ago today. You know, and I came back to find some pieces of my own personal jigsaw. And the only way I could find that was by finding records that they have destroyed. But they told me that there were records that they searched for in the Nottinghamshire Archives by the Navigation Pub here in Nottingham. We found the documents. Some of them are placed in places that they say don't exist. I even found documentary proof of their former director of social services, who they still claim does not exist. His name's Alan Smith, and he's been brought in by the Nottingham police. They told me he'd been arrested, but he was only invited in for a cosy little chat. The reason why he was only invited in for a cosy little chat is because here in Nottingham we have what's called a strategic partnership. That's a partnership between the County Council, the City Council and the Nottinghamshire Police. They're all guilty of past failures. I went to the police in 2003. The statements from me going to the police in 2003 have all disappeared. Just like my childcare records, all disappeared. But I came for my own personal closure, and in doing that, I uncovered what's on show today. A mass cover-up that goes back over 6 decades. Last year I could have took the money and run as far as the compensation payout is concerned, and I could have gone back to New York and said bye-bye to it. But I'm a man of substance, and I'm not going to back down. I tried to blow the whistle on it in 1967 as a kid in care. It didn't work. I spent many, many years thereafter as a derelict drug addict for many, many years. But I turned that around 12 years ago and put all the pieces together. And that's the thing that goes to where we are today. We exposed the cover-up on September the 8th last year after many, many protests. And we shut the council down. But the only people that left that meeting was the current Labour Party. And I don't really do politics, but after we've hit brick wall after brick wall, I did recently try to enter into politics, and it kind of backfired on me because I'm not that politically minded, and having been out of the country for 5.5 years, I chose what was probably the wrong party to go with. And They started a smear campaign at the City Council because they don't want me running against them. And we knew that the smear campaign was going to be about my criminal record, being a football hooligan, being a drug addict, even a former wife beater. You know, but I take ownership of all that stuff today because all this is consequences of my personal past. But we actually got a whistleblower telling us a week before that I exposed myself on social media. I don't have a problem with owning my past, it's the council and the police. But it went a little bit deeper than that they decided because St Anne's is a multi-ethnic area in Nottingham, they'll extend the smear campaign to say that they actually belong to the BNP, the EDL, and some anti-Muslim group. I've never in my life been attached to any such groups at all. I can stand there and look you all in the eye and tell you. Anyone who wants to do any research on me, feel free. Because at the end of the day, I've got nothing to hide. But we've come a very, very long way since then. We've got, through our own publicity, we now have people coming to us rather than go to the police, rather than go to the council. We've got former social workers, current social workers, current police officers, past police officers, all coming to us and blowing the whistle. You might think that Westminster's something that's big, but it's only big because it's on the national scale, and it's going to explode here in Nottingham. I can't give too much information out, but there's several media sources that we trust that are going to blow the lid on Nottingham, and when it does, I expect Nottingham to fold just like Rotherham did. We're going to get what we want eventually. What we decided was if we can't get at them one way, we'll try another way, and that's what we kept doing all along. It's not going to work to try and get them politically, because my initial thoughts were if we can't attack them from outside, we'll try and attack them from inside, and it backfired. But we've got a new way of working our way forward, and that is just to push on for what we want: a survivors-led public inquiry with the broadest terms of reference that we can have. And those terms of reference are really actually based on the Westminster terms of reference for the National CSA inquiry. We've got a brilliant team that's heading it. Some of them you know, some of them you may not know. But at the end of the day, the elected leader of the City Council, the Chief Executive of the City Council, we have inside information that they're actually shitting themselves. They don't know what's coming next. I love it going in, doing some of the things I do. For me, it's business, and I do my level best on a daily basis to take all of my emotional attachment out of it. Since around September, October last year, I've had many post-traumatic stress disorder meltdowns because of the emotive stuff that comes back and hits me. I even have to go and see a therapist quite often, most Fridays, and I do that out of my own personal choice because I know what the consequences are going to be. I can go back to drugs, or I can revert to what they want me to do, a violent reaction. I would love to go in there and tear off a few heads, but that's what they want. They want to discredit me at all costs, and I don't care. I will keep going. I'm like the Duracell bunny. I'm not going to back down at all. And we've got to do what we've got to do. And this is not just about Mickey Summers. Mickey Summers is just the cannonball, right? The story of where I came from, where my life ended up. It's you, the people, that have stood behind this campaign that's got it to where it is today. And without you, without people like Mark Salon and countless others that have got it well and truly in the public spotlight, I wouldn't be standing here today. I'd have just had a few little news clips in the Nottingham Post, and that would have been it. But the people that's rallied round us, they've rallied round the same way as people have rallied round Tom Crawford. You know, and from the bottom of my heart, I have to say a massive thank you, because I know that soon we are going to get what we need. We've got a Crime Commissioner, Paddy Tippin. You know, we've got a dossier on him that you wouldn't believe. He might put this big public face out that there's no past police failures. Well, I can call him a liar on that face to face, because the IPCC are actually investigating their past failure on my case from 2003, because all the statements were missing. He was the one that's got the authorisation for it to go to the IPCC. You know, so next time I see Mr. Tipping, I need to know from him, why are you telling lies? Why are you in collusion with John Collins and Alan Rhodes as the County Council and Chris Eyre? They're all in it together at the end of the day, and until we smash this strategic partnership, we're just going to bang our heads against the wall. But eventually, banging our heads against the wall will loosen a few bricks and we'll loosen the foundations, and we will get to where we need to go. I'm kind of done with what I've got to say, because many people out there do know my story, and any of those that don't, I'll be hovering around afterwards, and if you want to play catch up, feel free to play catch up. We do have a couple more protest rallies coming up quite soon, so if you watch my Facebook page, we'll give you some info on there. The other post I want to talk about is Melanie Shaw. You know, many of you know about Melanie. She was locked up in jail last year. She didn't get a fair trial, and at the end of the day, that judge, Michael Pert, he was on record of telling the jury that Operation Daybreak, the police investigation into this very stuff, is a conspiracy theory. Well, has anyone here ever heard of a conspiracy theory arresting people and charging them and taking them through the court system? You know, that man needs to be brought to book alone, you know, for what he said. But as far as Melanie goes, I kind of followed what was going on with her after she got her court case out of the way. And we had councillors promising her to put her on some kind of committee overseeing social services. They promised to give her a child back, but there was a precondition to that she had to guarantee that she was going to be silent, that she was going to stop attacking the council, stop attacking the police, and she didn't. I was offered the same deal with the county council via Steve Edwards. I told him to stick it up his arse. I don't want none of their deals, because all their deals is for my silence. Well, I have a little saying, silence is not justice. And I stand here today, not speaking for me, not speaking for some of those other victims that are already come out, but for the little people, those that have yet to be heard. And believe me, there's hundreds still out there. I'd like to have a good attack on Chris Eyre, the Chief Constable of Nottingham, because he was in a meeting last year with John Collins, Superintendent Ellen Chamberlain, who's in charge of public safety, and at the time Operation Daybreak incorporated another investigation about a place called Skegby Hall. Because Skegby Hall has got over 140 survivors involved in it, they made a strategic decision. That means the decision was made between the two councils and the police that they're going to separate it. Operation Daybreak is now about the children's homes, and it's a separate investigation. Why? Because they're all in it together. And I think I'm going to kind of wrap it up on that. We've got a few more minutes left, and we've got a good friend of mine that's been involved with us, Nigel, and I'm going to kind of hand over to Nigel and let Nigel finish off. Maybe he can give you some more information about what we're actually doing.
That's what you call being dropped in. Thanks, Mickey. Hi, everybody. There is a couple of things I'd like to say that maybe Mickey glanced over, but just giving you a bit of information about. The Melanie Shaw thing, we have a protest on Easter Sunday at midday in Peterborough. I'll be speaking at the protest proudly. It's very important that we support whistleblowers at this time. The Official Secrets Act was we tried to get an amendment through on the Official Secrets Act just a couple of months ago to allow whistleblowers to be able to give information to the inquiry without the Official Secrets Act being used against them, and it was voted down in Parliament just a month ago. So if they don't want to give protection to whistleblowers, there's an obvious reason for that. It's because they want to persecute whistleblowers. So it's very important that we do try and get some support out there for Melanie Shaw. Apart from that, on the 11th of April is the national CSA inquiry protests throughout the whole of the country. There will be protests held in Liverpool, Manchester, Holyrood and in London. So if you can't get to the one down in London, you can always get to one of the others, I hope. Okay. Don't know if there's been much more information I can give you. I wasn't prepared for this, I'm sorry. Thanks very much.
Unfortunately, Dave Witcher was going to be here, but he can't make it. So he sends his apologies. If we've got time, we can do a Skype with him, but unfortunately, we can't get it set up on this system. So our next speaker is Kevin. We're just going to have a changeover of computers, so he can use his. Is he here?
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.